you have a generator, don't run it indoors, because what that will do is allow you to die with carbon monoxide poisoning while your lights are on. That's just not what you want to do. So with the hurricane coming this way toward the Florida Keys as a Category 3, maybe Category 4, this is going to be a devastating blow to the Florida Keys, and of course really concerned about the people who did not evacuate and are not in a hardened facility that's designed for this sort of thing and not doing the job that Chip Casper does. He's a senior forecaster down at the National Weather Service Forecast Office in Key West, who I think is on the phone. Chip, can you hear me?
Yes, Dr. Knabb, I can hear you.
Hey, Chip, thanks again for talking with us. I don't see all good news in the latest advisory, even though it hasn't strengthened and maybe it isn't going to be as strong as previously forecast. But this is still a big, bad hurricane. What is your take on what you're about to face?
Well, it's sobering. You know, this is a very large and dangerous Category 3 hurricane, as you said, Dr. Knabb, and it really presents all the hazards that a hurricane can throw at somebody. We hope that many people or most people in the Keys evacuated, but if there's folks still left, now's the time to hunker down, stay where you're at, stay safe, and you know, be safe, because hurricane force winds are imminent. In fact, we just reported a 80-mile-an-hour wind gust at 9:40 p.m. on Shark Key, which is about 15 miles up, 10 to 15 miles up from Key West.
And of course, that's calm compared to what you're going to experience later. It's going to get a lot worse. Since you're so familiar with the Florida Keys and being the boundary between the Atlantic Ocean and the Gulf of Mexico, talk about how it's going to be a kind of a double trouble here. You're going to get the flow off the Atlantic as the hurricane approaches, but then what about the backside of the hurricane and storm surge? Remember what happened in Wilma?
That's exactly right. You know, with Hurricane Wilma, also a Category 3 hurricane, which came from a different direction, but still, you know, we actually had kind of two peaks in the water level. And one when the winds came from the Atlantic side, and actually the bigger storm surge when they came from the Gulf side. So depending on your location, we could certainly see that. And we're still expecting, as a potential worst-case scenario, anywhere from 5 to 10 feet of water possibly above ground, mainly in the lower middle Keys now, maybe a little less, just a little less up in the upper Keys.
Yeah, we have heard of some folks who are possibly trying to ride out this hurricane in a houseboat or a boat in the harbor there. What are you telling folks now that the weather is so bad? If they're in a dangerous spot now, has the weather gotten to the point where you are is where you're going to have to stay?
That's pretty much it. I just took a peek out the window here, and that is not a safe environment. The winds are absolutely howling right now. We're actually gusting close to 70 miles an hour right here at the forecast office in Key West. It is not safe outside. You're right, Dr. Knabb. Just hunker down, try to get to an interior room. You know, put your shoes on in case there's any kind of glass around, and just try to protect yourself at this point.
You know, one thing I wanted to highlight for everybody about how this whole event has played out. I don't know if you've counted the hours since the visitor evacuation started